The United States, the top destination for travelers from around the globe. Anywhere in the world you go, there are things you should do, and then there are things you should absolutely avoid. Before you pack your bags and head to the US, here are some don'ts to keep in mind. Number 1. Don't rely solely on public transport. The USA is known for its car-centric culture, and this is particularly true outside of major urban areas. In big cities like New York, San Francisco, or Washington DC, public transportation is relatively efficient. You have subways, buses, and trams, which are often used by locals and tourists alike. In smaller towns, suburbs, and especially rural areas, public transport can be infrequent or virtually non-existent. Many Americans rely on their personal vehicles in these regions. While ride-sharing apps like Uber and Lyft have made commuting easier, having a clear transportation plan is crucial when visiting the vast landscapes of the USA. The next tip I have for you is, don't forget to tip. Tipping is customary in the US. In restaurants, a tip of 15 to 20% is standard for good service. Also, remember to tip your taxi drivers, hairdressers, and hotel staff. While tipping might feel foreign or even excessive to visitors from countries where it's not the norm, in the US, it's a key way of showing appreciation for good service. Always carry some small bills to make tipping easier and more convenient. Third, don't expect better service from fancy hotels. You'll think, oh, I'm paying more money for this hotel. I'd probably get extra stuff like free Wi-Fi and free breakfast. But for some reason, that's not the case. The nicer and fancier the hotel, the more you have to pay for things that you otherwise had for free. And honestly, you'll be going out and exploring. You just need a couple beds, right? So try to avoid fancy hotels and find cheaper ones that will give you free Wi-Fi and other stuff. Number 4. Don't touch people. Respecting personal space is crucial. While a handshake or a hug might be appropriate in a familiar setting, avoid unsolicited touching or getting too close to someone you don't know. Similarly, it's considered very impolite and intrusive to touch someone else's belongings without permission. Number 5. Don't underestimate distances. The USA is vast. Traveling from one state to another might take longer than you think. So always plan your journey and manage your time efficiently. The next tip is, don't rely on the metric system when you're in the US. Unlike most of the world, the USA primarily uses the imperial system for measurements. This can lead to some unexpected misunderstandings. Americans don't use meters, kilometers, or liters. It's inches, gallons, miles, and things like that. So make sure you know your imperial systems. Here's a conversion table to compare. Feel free to take a screenshot. 7th, don't skip local etiquettes. Each region might have its own local customs. For instance, in many cities, standing on the right side of escalators lets others pass on the left. Familiarize yourself with local etiquettes. Number 8, don't assume "how are you" is always a genuine question. One of the first things you might notice when interacting with Americans is the frequent use of the greeting, "How are you?" or "How's it going?" In many instances, especially with strangers or acquaintances, this phrase is more of a casual greeting than an actual inquiry into your well-being. It's like saying hello or hi. Standard responses to such casual greetings include "fine thanks" or even just "hey." You're not typically expected to delve into details about your day or feelings. Number 9. Don't discuss sensitive topics. Topics like politics, religion, gun control, and certain social issues can be sensitive. It's best to gauge your company before diving into deep discussions. Number 10. Don't forget the local sales tax. Unlike many other countries, the price you see on the tag isn't always the final price. States have their own sales tax, which can be added at the register. Number 11. Don't smoke everywhere. The USA has seen a significant shift in its stance on smoking in public places, and it's essential to be aware of these changes. In many states, smoking inside restaurants, bars, offices, and other public buildings is prohibited. This ensures clean air for everyone and reduces the risk associated with secondhand smoke. If you're a smoker visiting the USA, always look for designated smoking areas or signs. And when in doubt, it's best to ask or simply refrain from smoking. Respect these rules. Number 12, don't get sick. The cost of healthcare is way too high in the USA. If you're traveling to the US, make sure to get travel or trip insurance in case you do get sick. Healthcare in the US is definitely insanely expensive, so make sure to prepare for that. And those are the don'ts for visiting the US. What are some don'ts you have for the US? Comment below.